players are convicted of crimes later on, or even his MPs, and they're following these people. Why don't they talk about the Sahabas? Anas radiallahu anhu, or the others in Medina. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one Sahabi, I think it was Anas radiallahu anhu, he made him learn the language of the Jews, the Hebrew language, at the age of 15, so that he could become his interpreter when he came to these non-Muslims, to these Jews. This young age. And the Prophet ﷺ is using these vigilant Muslims. Mus'ab ibn Umayr, radiallahu anhu, 14 or 15. He was sent from Makkah to Medina to teach the people of Medina before the Prophet ﷺ came about Islam. He was not more than 20 years old. And he was sent to Medina as a teacher who taught them. These are great people of our history. And if we don't teach our children, then it will become the TV characters, it will become the people whom we hear when we go to school, of who the great people are and whom we want to become. And when we come home, we will say, oh yes, I do love Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but we don't know anything about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, anything about the Sahabas, and we don't have anything in our heart. Spend 5 to 10 minutes home, reading one of these books, with the whole family, and don't miss a day. Riyadh al-Salihin, Hayat al-Sahaba, or Fadail al-Amal, these 3 books I choose from. Even if it's just you and your wife, if it's just you and your little child, I'm just going to hint at you what kind of stories our children need to learn. Talk about Salahuddin Ayyubi, when he walked into that whole area, and he took over that area without any bloodshed. This is our pride. This is what we need to tell them. We need to teach our children that when they walk into Vietnam, and they kill millions of people without even considering have any regard of human blood whatsoever. When they do this, when they've left behind in Iraq depleted uranium that is causing abnormal births in that region, when they've done that in Japan, in Hiroshima, when they bomb those people, is this something to be proud of? Teach your children this. Tell them, is this something to be proud of? We Muslims walk into countries, we might use the sword. In our history we use the sword, but only with a few people. And the people who are definitely not going to accept Islam, and they are going to work against Islam. But our way of going forward is, we walk into a country and we tell them, Aslim Taslam. You accept Islam, you'll be in amnesty. That's the first thing. Before this, any Muslim has no right to conquer or to attack a country. The second thing we say, okay, if you don't want to accept Islam, then fine. We ask you to pay jizya, tax, to the Muslim government, and the Muslim government will supply you with an army to protect your country, to protect the rights of your civilians, and you can stay in your Christian faith, you can stay in your Judaic faith. Islam says, we will let you keep your faith in your own countries, but pay tax. And if you don't do that, then tomorrow, we're sorry. If you don't want to accept Islam, if you don't want to stay on your religion and give us the authority of protecting your country and your government, then I'm sorry, we're going to have to deal with a sword then. Or with guns or with war. That's our procedure. But when we walk in a country, Islam says, you cannot fight the old aged. You cannot kill civilians. You cannot kill women. You cannot kill children. You can't kill even the religious people who are not actively involved against Islam. You can't kill the people who go and seek amnesty, who stay in their homes. If we're going for a war and there's a non-Muslim who stays in his house, then we can't barge into his house and attack him. Only the people who come out in the streets, or who come out to the battlefield and who want to fight us, will fight them. Look how much we have look how much consideration we have for these non-Muslims. We have to teach this to our Muslim children, that look how we are. We're not barbarians, we're not fundamentalists. And this image that the media has given, continuously bombarding Muslims, taking this image out of our own heads and out of the heads of the children. This is the reason why our children don't want to go forward. This is the reason why our children don't want to accept our faith of Islam and to be proud of it. Why? Muslim, when they write a news article, say, Palestinian gunmen aimed at Israeli inhabitants or occupiers of houses. Palestinian gunmen. Why don't they say Israeli gunmen? Have you ever heard of Israeli gunmen? Have you ever heard of Christian fundamentalists? You never hear that. Muslim fundamentalists, that fits. Those 2 words fit. But the other 2 words don't fit. Rebels, Chechen rebels were seen hiding in mountains against the Russian officials. Why are Russians officials and we are rebels? We need to make clear to Muslims at a very young age that this is not true, what is going on in the media. And we've got to be very careful of what our children learn from the media as they grow up. And to be honest with you, this is the Islam that I was going through. That is against West, against Islam, vis Islam. And that's how I saw it. Until I went to the madrasa, I was not convinced about Islam. Especially, for instance, before I went to madrasa, the Iran and Iraqi war, for 8 years, from 81 to 89, was playing in my mind. Why are Muslims fighting each other? But you need to make it clear. Why are they doing this? Who made them fight? Who is behind it? America and Russia. They've brainwashed our Muslims and they're making them fight together. And the other thing was, I saw Islam as a part and not as a whole. When it came to weddings, the only Islam I saw at that time in weddings was the khutbah the Imam prayed. This happens in a lot of weddings. If you want your child to grow up and to have respect for Islam and Islamic values, then don't let him think that Islam is only a part of Islam, a part of his faith or his life. That's how I saw. My life is being led, but Islam is part. I came to many mosques and I saw the Imam reading the khutbah, yes. But after that, the people walk away to a restaurant, to a takeaway. They have loud music, the dancing, singing, and then they have food dished out, and everyone's wearing suit, ties, and all the ladies are wearing their kind of clothing. And where's Islam then? Islam doesn't exist anymore. It only exists in the mosque when they have to make a wedding, a funeral, and that's where Islam lies. Enjoyment, or for instance someone's died, or what do we do? Or we need an Imam to basically do the janazah, and that's where Islam lies. And it's very sad that I saw Islam as a part. And even though, and another thing I saw is that the bridegroom, a lot of the times, who came for his nikah, I used to watch the bridegroom. You know, the bridegroom wears that turban and he wears that suit. I used to watch him. And when it came to the Zuhr Salat, for instance, the khutbah is after the nikah of the khutbah is after the Zuhr Salat, I see this groom standing there at a young age, and I see him basically imitating everyone else. He doesn't know how to pray. He's like, Allahu Akbar, raising his hands, and then he sees somebody make a sajda, so he makes sajda. He doesn't know how many rakats he has to pray, so he does that. Then I thought to myself, well, is this a Muslim? Surely, if he's making his nikah in a Muslim mosque, then he's got to be Muslim, then is this my role I'm going to play when I grow up? That Islam becomes a part of my religion, of my life, and it doesn't become the entire life? I wasn't told, for instance, that earning money or going through a business could be Islam. When you earn money, when you go to your job, that is Islam. When you earn a livelihood earning a living for your family, if you do it because Allah has given you a hukm, a command in the Quran that you have to look after your family and yourself, and you're earning money with this intention, then that time that you spend there is for Islam. I wasn't told this. I was told it was only part of it, and not entire Islam. And certainly, brothers, I have to say that if this is going to be the image that we have of Muslims, the image that we have of Muslims while we grow up, is not going to be something which we want to seek. Now, this other one thing I have to tell you. When I was young, my father did call us to certain Islamic talks, and this had great effect on us. Once in every 4 months or once every 6 months, he would call all of us and we'd have a 2-hour session where my father, and let me tell you this, you yourselves as fathers of children, what you will say to your child will be the greatest impact than any other teacher outside there. Believe me. No matter how many teachers outside there tell you about Islam, when your father tells you about Islam, that will have more impact than anyone else. I remember we had certain sessions where my father went through the death, how we die,